Welcome everyone back. I hope you are all ready and excited as we are to hear the first pitches of the category Culture and Tourism. There could not be a better person moderating this because Rudy Laddaga, now our national expert for Mexico, member of the board, jury member since many years, won his first WSA award also in the culture category. Which does not mean that he did not win other awards later, but they were related to education. Rudy, I'm handing over to you. Thank you for moderating this session.
Thank you so much, Nora. Yes, indeed. I'm very fond of this category because exactly what you said, this was my first WSA award. And I don't know, I'm Mexican. We're a very cultural country, so we really love this category. And I have the opportunity to be a member of the jury this year. And this was one of the categories that I was evaluating with other jury fellows from all over the world. And it's a very important category these days because, as you know, COVID took this industry very hard. It was performance, tourism, everything went down with the first industry that came down. So I think that right now is a very important category as technology will help us actually to overcome this pandemic. So we have 5 products. These were the winners of this year. And so we're going to have all these, the representatives of each of the products, they're going to pitch their product for 3 minutes. And then we will open the floor for questions, or the virtual floor, I guess, because we're not in a room right now. It's a virtual room. So the first one, this is a very nice project that I really liked when we were evaluating. And this is from Chile. And the product is Wheel the World. And Alvaro Silverstein is going to be making the pitch. So Alvaro, please, when you're ready, start.
Hello, thank you, Rudy. Do you see my screen, right?
Yes.
Just checking out. Okay, so I'm ready. Hello, everyone. My name is Alvaro Silverstein. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Wheel the World. On 2017, I became the first person ever in a wheelchair to complete the W trek in Patagonia, Torres del Paine. This was an amazing trip with the help of my friends that I took getting to my dream place. And it was a beautiful trip that went viral online. And then thousands of people started reaching out, people with disabilities that have family or friends that wanted to repeat this trip. So we started organizing this trip to other people. Through this, we realized that the travel industry is far from including people with disabilities. First, the accessible offer is very limited. The information is not online, and people with disabilities want to travel as anyone else. So we decided to found Wheel the World, a startup with the purpose of making the world accessible. Wheel the World is the booking.com for people with disabilities. People with disabilities can go through Go Wheel the World and find and book accessible places to stay, things to do, or multi-day trips with specific accessibility information and processes designed for them. We are collecting accessibility data points, more than 100 per listings, through an app and through a community of more than 1,000 people. So we can publish this information online, crucial information for people with disabilities to travel. So far, more than 300 listings we offer through gowheeltheworld.com, and 1,300 people have traveled with us, generating $1.2 million in revenues. And we want to continue doing this because there's 1 billion people that have a disability in the world, and 2 billion people that are directly related to them that are also in need of accessibility. A huge untapped market that nobody is addressing the way it should. We have raised a $1.8 million seed round in a pandemic thinking long term because the travel industry will reactivate fast in the second semester of this year. And we have an amazing trip from 6 different nationalities with the background and talent to make people with disabilities travel all over the world. To achieve this, to achieve impacting 30,000 people in 2 years and generating around $2.5 million in revenues that will allow us to achieve our Series A, to scale globally our impact. Because this is what we want to do, allow millions of people with disabilities travel to thousands of destinations beyond what they thought possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Alvaro. So now the chat, or if you want to raise a hand to ask questions, I think we have the first one, which is Connor. Connor, you want to ask the question? Or write it and I can read it if you don't want to ask it.
Terribly sorry. Can you hear me okay?
Now we can hear you. Perfect.
Great. Thank you for the presentation. Just very quickly, I didn't hear in your presentation a discussion of impact. Now, I think it's inferred in everything that you do because clearly it's a very impactful project. My question is this: what is the key metric with which you measure your impact on society? The key metric, the key number?
The key metric is number of people that book trips with us, people with disabilities that book trips and go into a place with the service that we provide that is accessible. It's way better than one that the industry has. And so far, as I told you in my pitch, we have impacted since 2018, 1,300 people that have booked trips with us, mainly between 2018 and 2019. Of course, 2020 wasn't a great year for impact, but we believe that we are already reactivating this year, and our purpose towards these upcoming years will be to impact 30,000 people with the money that we have raised, the team that we have, and the solution that we have built, and we are also continue building.
Thank you, Alvaro. The next one is Odetta. Odetta, you have a question.
Hi, yes, I have a question. Thank you, Alvaro, amazing project. Could you elaborate a bit more on how you collect the data and what allows you to collect a vast amount of data across the world? How does that process go?
Sure. So also, as I shared briefly in my presentation, we have built an app that is called the Accessibility Mapping System. It's made by us, and it's a tool to collect data around accessibility. And when I mean in detail, it's, for example, in a place to stay, in an accommodation, we are collecting the width of a door, the height of a bed, with pictures, how the bathroom looks like. For example, it's more than 100 data points per listing, and we are using our community of people that have traveled with us and that have joined our community. We have a community of more than 100,000 people that have joined our mission through social media, through our emailing account, committed to making the world accessible, and we are allowing them to raise this information through our app, and we're collecting this. For example, today, we have more than 100 people that are collecting this data in destinations like from Santiago de Chile through Singapore. All over the place, people that have already traveled with us are helping us to collect this information so we can publish it online.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eta. Thank you, Alvaro. Now, Gary, you have a question? Gary Schwartz. No, not anymore. Connor, do you have also your hand raised? You have another question? No? Okay. I have one for you. If no one else has questions, then I have one for you, and then. One of the things that we noticed this year is that categories are mixing. You have been talking all about inclusion, but it's and it's a tourism category right now, right? You're in the tourism category. You see yourself or your company. Where is your heart? Is it more in the inclusion part or in the tourist part?
I mean, I believe that inclusion can be on every industry. At the end of the day, we want to make the world accessible, and we are focusing on this first stage in travel, in tourism, in culture and tourism. So we want to make inclusive culture and tourism, right? So I cannot respond to your question saying what's first or what's the second. We are focusing on people with disabilities to make them accessible, the travel industry, and that's what we focus, and that's what we are.
Wonderful. Thank you, Alvaro. I think Gary wants to make his questions. Gary?
Yeah, thank you, Alvaro. I have a question regarding sort of maybe the other side of your business equation. So I understand that you're, creating a network of accessible properties for travel. Are you also in the business of going out and helping people convert their existing properties to be accessible? Because I think that's a really interesting opportunity, even to partner with Leviathans like Airbnb to create a category where you're helping an existing community convert and make accessible their properties. Is that part of your business model?
It's part of our operation model, not our business model, to put it that way. So, for example, we are providing, when we collect the 100 data points for a listing, we provide an automatic report to them so they can understand what's the situation in terms of accessibility. Secondly, we are close to launch an online course of accessible travel. We call it the Will the World Academy. So we can provide to our partners, at the end of the day, our travel operators are our partners. Because of them, we can impact people, and we are helping them all the time to improve their accessibility services. So at the end of the day, we are partnering with them, collaborating with them to improve accessibility. But our business model at the end of the day is a marketplace, and we have to make sure of liquidity, right? Like how we are compelling for travelers in terms of the offer that we have, and also how compelling we are for partners on bringing more people to visit our website. And at the end of the day, we are experiencing in the past 3 months an important growth of 20% monthly, the number of people that are visiting our website. Bookings are not there yet because we all know that we are in a situation that is tough, but we believe that with the growth in signups in our platform and people becoming users in our platform, we will be able to impact all of them when the industry will reactivate, I believe, July, August this year.
Thank you. And just a tail question, are you looking to partner with existing networks, Leviathan such as Airbnb and others to create sort of partnerships where you can accelerate their inclusion, accessibility?
That's a great question. Today we are a marketplace, right? And we are collecting accessibility data and providing it through gowilltheworld.com. We believe that in a middle term, when we have thousands of listings, today we have 300 listings, we can also provide this data to Booking.com or Airbnb, Expedia, who don't have this data, but they might be able to have it, and we are building an API so we can connect our accessibility inventory through an API to Go Will the World, but also to Booking.com, Airbnb, etc. An important thing to mention, Booking.com was the first entity that backed us. We won the Booking Booster Accelerator program made by Booking, and that was kind of a big statement for us. Booking.com stating that our value proposition was relevant was kind of a big thing because they kind of acknowledged that we were adding value to the industry, and they are the largest company in the world in terms of travel, so that was kind of a big thing for us.
Thank you so much,
Great
Alvaro.
answer. Thank you.
And thank you, Gary. We have to move forward, and I will ask the winners to keep the answers shorter so we can have enough time for all of you guys. So let's move to the next product, the next winner, which is Navicup. And Navicup, it's from Estonia.
Yep.
This is as an audio system, and Sim is going to do the presentation of Navicup. So please, Sim, go ahead.
Am I good to go?
You're good to go.
Hello, we are Navicup and we make tourism fun and safe. And this is Susie. Susie is a guide in a big tour operator company. Well, at least she used to be. Susie and her friends at the company lack of work because of COVID. Traditional tourism has been hibernating for over a year now. Even after the pandemic, there will be nothing exactly the same as it once was, even for Susie. People will explore individually and avoid big groups. That is not only because of current pandemic, but rather a long-term trend as stated in different tourism forecasts. We feel sorry for Susie. So what can we do to help her? If close contact is considered unsafe and Susie's work as a tour guide is limited, we need something that is contactless and personal. A smartphone. It's for personal use only, therefore very safe, and most of us have it. It can talk 100 languages, it knows where, when, and what to tell. It can even give you right directions if needed. Susie got excited. However, she knew that the mobile app can never substitute a human in terms of emotions and empathy, but she was eager to give it a try. All of her friends, no matter the ethnicity, age, sex, or physical ability, can now start working as a guide. When we started developing AudioGuide platform, we didn't know what we were actually getting into. The whole new world with unimagined possibilities revealed in front of us. We saw that 90% of tourists never go to tour with guide Susie because there are never tours at the right time, topic, or language. Or some tourists just want to explore individually. Susie saw that this personal digital guide in smartphone would fill that incredibly big gap in the market, and it would offer her friends and the company she works for even bigger income than before the crisis. Sometimes good things happen from bad times. And this is not the end of it. Susie's ideas just started to fly. Susie's grandmother had so many stories connected to certain places at home village. Susie put all her stories on the map, so by walking on the streets, you can listen to her grandmother's memories. What a wonderful way to pass on cultural heritage to younger generations. After a local bus drive put his stories on the map, bus line number 3 became very popular. Commuters wanted to hear these entertaining stories about places they pass. That's another great idea how to turn regular bus lines into tourism attractions. Today, Susie smiles together with us. We are not quite there yet, but we definitely have started an exciting journey together. World, come aboard.
Thank you, Sim. So let's see if we have some questions from the jury. It's okay, Odetta, please go ahead.
Hi, Sim. Thank you very much for the presentation. Can you tell us a little bit more where you are right now with this platform? And like, is it obviously probably it's an app that people have to download to their phone, and also monetization model. So how is Susie going to get paid? So yeah, and you know, where are you at with the project?
Well, AudioGuide is already there on the market and it's available for everybody. Regarding the monetizing model, it's fairly simple. You either sell it through your website. For example, if you are a tour operator, then you can just, you know, pop it up there. And of course, you can have it on our own like marketplace. Plus, what is more is that the app itself is sort of a marketplace. So, for example, if we have plenty of users in certain area, and they just open up their app. They have been using it before. They just can see what kind of maps, routes, tours are around them, and they just can go ahead and buy.
Oh, so the Suzy defines the price that the person who is using it pays for every guide.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Suzy, as a map administrator, basically can access a web platform where it all actually begins. So they build the tour over there, and then they can share it over the app.
And sorry, just the last bit of the question: how many users do you already have?
Regarding the app users, currently tens of thousands, not 100,000 yet, but soon to be there.
Thank you, Letta. Thank you, Sim. I think Connor has a question also.
Yes, I'm sorry for the extremely basic question, but can you explain what the app is in just one sentence, not the purpose or mission or traction, but it is what exactly? I'm terribly sorry that I am asking such a basic question.
So basically, it's actually app and web platform where you can basically create maps, tours, audio guided tours on the web, and then you will share it over the app to the users.
Okay, I understand. Sorry, just a second question, if the moderator doesn't mind. How do you measure the social impact of the app? Do you measure it in economic gain of the people in the marketplace, in a certain improved experience in the people that use it? What's your metric?
Actually, yeah, that's it's quite a new product to the market anyway. So we're slowly getting to this point where we can start thinking of these kinds of things as well. But mainly, yeah, you already answered the question yourself.
Okay, so it is through economic benefit.
Yeah.
And experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Sim. Just one question for me, and then if there are no more questions, we can move to the next product. What is the difference between, Google Maps has an option to create your own tours, and also you can put media, in the different map points that you pick. What is the difference between what you're doing and what?
Well, as this name says, it's an audio guide. So we have tried to create a very automated system in terms of being easy to be used by everybody, basically. So let's take, for example, Suzy wants to have her tour in one certain area, for example, in 5 different languages. So we have automated this side as well. She basically enters the basic text to the web platform. From there, she just has 2 to 3 clicks, and all this will be translated automatically to the other languages. Plus, the app side of it plays all the translated text to you with a text-to-speech technology.
Okay, so that difference is that I just input the text in my language, and then it will automatically translate it using text-to-speech to other languages.
Yeah.
Okay, super. So I think we have no more questions from the juror, so we can move forward. Thank you very much, Sim, and good luck.
Thanks. Bye.
And now the next one, it's a very nice product from Lithuania, which is called Flight Across the Atlantic. And we have Andrius Paulauskas presenting the project. Please, Andrius, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. So I'm Andrius Paulauskas, or internationally Andrew, and I'm from Kaunas University of Technology, and I represent the joint team with Vytautas the Great War Museum. So imagine this. It's 15th of July, 1933. 2 pilots, Stepanas Darius and Stasys Girėnas, are getting ready to depart from New York in their plane called Lithuania. This is the beginning of one of the most notable events in the interwar period of Lithuania, the flight across the Atlantic. The trip itself had a tragic fate. Sadly, the pilots crashed, but with their trip, they succeeded with their mission, bringing fame to the name of Lithuania and also going down in history of aviation. At the time, their flight was recorded to be second longest in terms of length, distance flown, and fourth longest in time stayed airborne. So, of course, around the world we have many stories like that, right? Any nation has stories they can tell. And what's important with these stories is that they contain important cultural heritage objects. And sometimes these objects are lost in time or are very hard to obtain. So our solution is to make educational games that not only tell an engaging story through gameplay mechanics that visitors of museums or remote players can play, but also digitize the cultural heritage objects and preserve them. We use various methods of 3D modeling and reconstruction, augmented reality, and virtual tours to achieve this. Our game has received almost 7,000 players. 2,000 of them were students during various educational programs in the museum. 360 players were reached from summer camps. There were also mostly consisting of students. Also, 2,750 independent museum visitors also tried out the game. And we have nearly 1,800 downloads from 16 countries around the world that have tried out the game. Well, this brings the number up to around 7,000 total players. And in general, museum visitors, they are rather excited when they enter the museum and are pleasantly surprised that they not only have to passively observe the exhibits, but also interact with them and listen a story in a new and an engaging way. And of course, we have some positive feedback from players from our game from the Google Play Store. So, of course,
Thank you, Andrew. I think there are 3 minutes up front. So, questions from the jurors. I have one if no one raises their hand. I was, as I told you before, I was evaluating this category, and it was a really interesting game. I remember that it had some augmented reality functions.
Yes.
You go through some parts of the plane, and then you will get some information. Are these functions work outside of the museum? Can I see that information, or I have to be at the museum?
Well, yes, the functions in this particular program, the augmented reality is integrated with a small little magnetic souvenir that you can get from the museum. So the flight across the Atlantic is one project that does need you to visit the museum before you can use the augmented reality apps. But other projects that we also develop with the museum, for example, the one in my background right now, has also models of planes that do not require the visitor to have visited the museum. And of course, we're planning to open up more of these interactions that we have within the museum to the open public. It's especially important in the previous year and currently in this year, I guess. Hopefully not for too longer. But putting the apps outside of the museum helps more people. Helps us reach more people to see the content, the stories that we want to tell.
Thank you, Andrew. Connor, you had a question.
Yes, I'm going to start sounding like a broken wheel here, but I really like the app. I think it's a great way to communicate history. So, very exciting project. I'm curious, what is the change? What is the vision? What's the change you want to try to make in the world, and how do you think that your product can achieve that?
From our perspective, because Lithuania is a very small country and we're a small nation, a small but proud nation, right? The main focus for now is to tell as much stories of the Lithuanian people as we can, right? But it's not only, well, it's to tell the stories in a way that would fill in the blanks for people in our country, right? And to introduce our story to other countries too. So, for example, fragments of the flight across the Atlantic or the naval history of Lithuania or the interwar period. Most Lithuanians know quite a lot about these periods of time and these events, but they do not know everything. So we try to fill these blanks. And as I mentioned before, because most of the world probably, they probably heard of Lithuania as a country, right? But they perhaps haven't got the time or haven't got the hook to stay to get interested in the history. Well, we want to put these games out that people would get that hook, that they would, well, get engaged, perhaps, especially the younger generation. They would get engaged through games and then get their interest in history.
Thank you, Andrew. So, more questions? No? Okay. So let's move to the next one. And the next project is from my country, from Mexico. So we have Vivian Cruz and Hector Cruz that are going to do the presentation of this project that is called LOOPMirrors of Time, Live Remote Creation Theater. So Vivian, the stage is yours.
I come from a family of artists. My father is a famous Mexican painter. My brother, a photographer and multimedia designer. My sisters are also visual artists. So I developed my career in a professional scenic arts field as a dancer, actor, and earlier on, choreographer, video artist, and artistic director. I am Vivian Cruz from Mexico City with an international career for more than 25 years. Last year, the lockup occasioned by the pandemic situation killed our jobs, our self-expression, our way to communicate. In many other people too, but the performing artists in Latin America and all around the world has suffered a collapse in all areas. Approximately 12 million employed scenic art workers worldwide. Our problem was that we need a tool to release and recover the freedom to create in the middle of a crisis. There are many digital tools in the market to communicate, but not one to have creation artists. So we create a very simple and efficient tool to mix images in real time to connect artists from many different locations and realities. We use the current technology to create a high-performance video mixer on an open source model to complete a technical process to achieve our methodology goals, which is to freedom our artistic power in the new digital era. This solution has given us a new space to make artists work. It's also a way to democratize art. It's accessible to people regardless of where they are. It can be viewed from anywhere in the world, in any device, and for all kinds of people. These live remote creation performances can be seen on a website in any social network. For us, it's important to invite people after the show to a remote meeting to participate in a collective experience with live feedback. We create an open dialogue, we recover audience, we create community, and we close the social theater experience. Since June last year, we have created 3 plays, 42 performances, 5 workshops for more than 200 students from universities and art schools, 3 festival participations, artistic collaboration with more than 14 countries, reached more than 35 countries and more than 90,000 people around the world. We are 2 co-founders, Hector Cruz, my brother, who is the mastermind in this digital and multimedia creation, myself as a catalyzer of the entire experience, pushing boundaries between the artistic languages in a new territory. And we have a beautiful team of artists that is growing day by day.
our goal is to keep creating, reach out global audiences and make a huge community. We are artists sharing a creation that has been used to pass through very difficult moments, and we found a new possibility to grow up as a human beings, and we are landscape artists escénicas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vivian. So let's see questions from the jurors. Okay. So I have one, because the way you know, when all this started, the way I contacted you guys is because we were trying to help the theater community in Mexico. And I remember being in a meeting with over 50 national producers, the first stage of the pandemic. And they were really angry when we proposed to virtualize their creations, their theater, because they were saying, this is not theater, we're not going to do that. So 1 year has passed, and you have developed this tool. And how can you tell us, how is the feeling now with the producer, what they see, what you're doing?
Well, the thing is this, we are not going back to the theaters as we knew it before. So there is a new space that we are winning. So for the scenic artists, we are learning how to transmit our way of being, our way to communicate feelings, sensations, metaphoric poetry in this new platform, in this new territory. So for us, we have win audiences, we have win collaborators, and we start getting a new students, a new artists that want to learn how to make art in this new territory. So for us, this is very exciting because we are looking forward to find a way to communicate with the audience, which is the main goal of the theater and scenic performing arts. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Vivian. So Gary, you have a question for Loop.
Yeah, very nice high energy presentation. Thank you. I was involved in a similar project called Cardboard Stage globally. And the big challenge is that it's great to get performing artists working together online and then maybe allow them to go offline non-traditionally. But the challenge is always, how do you monetize it? Because, you know, people, you know, are prepared to live in an attic as an artist, but ultimately you still need to feed yourself. So one of the things that, you know, we did is we included brands in the process, you know, to allow them to participate in the creative process. How are you bringing money and the ability to sustain business into the community?
Well, for us, it's always the problem to sell performances. So it's not a business. It's not really an industry. It's a way of living. So for us, surprisingly, it has been a real great year because we have been giving workshops all around. We have been collaborating with festivals and other communities around the world, and we have been paid for that. So it's making a kind of a net of collaboration, and also looking for money in another levels of collaboration between countries and all around. So I think it's very weird because for us it has been a fantastic year. You know, we are always poor, trying to find and kill ourselves to find just one theater in Mexico City or two theaters for all the community. So right now we don't need theater. We open every space, and we are really having money to give workshops and to give performances. And I don't know, maybe we are not in the point to charge for performing in these platforms, because we don't believe in that. We believe that we need to create a community, be hunger to want more. And after that, then we are going to be able to charge for it. I think it's step by step, I believe.
Thank you, Vivian. Odeta, you have a question for them.
Yes. Hello, Vivian. Thank you for an amazing presentation. I just wanted to see if I got it right. So right now, the platform is more focused to the artists rather than the audience who would watch the performance. Is that correct?
Could you ask us? Hector is going to help me. Yeah.
No. So I was just wondering, so right now the platform is mostly about bringing together the artists and actually giving workshops, and not so much about the general audience actually coming to watch everything. So it's more like for artist community rather than people outside of it. Did I get it right?
Hi, Lorena. I'm Hector here. So yes, you're right. We have covered those different areas. For one side, we have this platform to share these methods, and also we develop as a technical tool that is the high performance mixer, video mixers, to use it with the Skype and also these MS Teams. But for the other side, we have tried to share this kind of experience with the public, creating all these methods or dynamics to strategies also to reach audience and talk with them, and also create how to say this, followers, and also a community to speak each other, to share something and hear about it. So yes, we trying to cover all those things, the part of the teaching things and the part of the teach and share and create all together. But for the other side, we have the experience for the people. No? Yesterday, we have a very great experience with people from 7 countries from one side, creating and teaching and performing their skills. But for the other side, we have a public or audiences from north of Europe and North America, and many part of the Latin America sides. But we are trying to cover all those things.
Thank you, Hector. Thank you, Deta. So, and then Connor, the last question, so we can go to the next presentation. Connor.
Yes, just a very quick one. You mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, your goal is to help artists whose income has been devastated during COVID. Do you know, do you measure how much economic impact participating on the project has for the artists? Have you measured how much income they're able to take out of it?
Yes, in this point, we have a very difficult abilities to reach or to know how is this method working in part of the economic side. We are trying to put our energy, trying to focus in this healing process for the people, healing procreate, and as a method and experience to involve audience, involve performing artists in terms to healing themselves, and then create a better and wider methods to keep creating and all together working and finding new paths to recover our economic situation. Also, yeah, this is a very linked connection with the first question about how we can monetize these kind of things. We are on that already. Yeah.
Thank you, Hector, and thank you, Connor. So, so thanks. That was Loop from Mexico. And last but not least, we have our Travaxy team that it's already waiting to do their presentation. And I see that they're already here. And so Travaxy, you're next. Please present yourself and start your presentation.
So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. So hi everyone, my name is Leoz and I will start now. Did you ever think to yourself how a person with accessibility with a wheelchair goes to the toilet on a plane? Have you ever booked a room for your holiday in an hotel and when you got there, you couldn't go in? It happened to me more than once. The problem is the travel agents are not accessibility experts. Most travel agents struggle to cater for this segment market. For example, a hearing impairment person will need this kind of amenities. One of them is a light to indicate a knock on the door, comparing to a wheelchair user such as myself that will need this set of parameters. The crazy thing about it is that there isn't any standard for an accessible room. Every room looks different, and this is why we're so needed. Our solution is a middle layer solution for hotel and flight bookings. We integrate seamlessly and automatically, of course, to online and offline travel agencies. The best thing about our service is that you don't need to disconnect from existing connections such as flights or accommodation. We are middle layer that connects in between. Our database is being gathered from us and from our collaboration with accessibility organizations around the world. We certify every hotel with more than 90 accessibility parameters, from the public to the room area to COVID-19 measures and more information that they have. Airline requires 48 hours notification before a disabled person is coming to the airport. They need to know his disability type and needs and the equipment that he's carrying. Travaxy does it in seconds and ensure a relaxing experience for both client and traveler. We are talking about the biggest and fastest growing minority in the world. There are 1.2 billion people in the world who are disabled. 600 million out of them lives in developed countries, and 70% of them before COVID-19 traveled between 2 to 4 times more than the usual traveler. Our goal for this coming year is to increase our database from 500 properties to 10,000 properties, and also to connect to these tier 1 companies, which 4 of them we are already starting to connect to a pilot. Our team is a very professional team, from the accessibility parameter, from travel industry, from programming, and of course, from the business development. Our great advisors are a charm for this startup. They bring very good results to us. Travaxy is an award-winning startup. The last competition we won was actually the UN SDGs 10, reducing inequalities while traveling. Thanks to Travaxy, every travel agent can become an accessibility expert. We are able to serve millions of travelers every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we have 5 more minutes for questions, which is plenty of time. So if the juror has questions for our winners, this is the time. So I will ask one then if there's no one asking. What is your business model?
Our business model is cents per click. What we do is we connect to bigger companies, such as Amadeus, which presented us as the best 14 companies, travel tech companies to look for in 2021. So we connect to the companies, we take very small amount of their revenue, and this is to help them close the gap, because at the end of the day, travel agents, they are not accessibility experts, but they are great travel agents. So they know what to do for themselves. They just need the gap in between that we help them solve.
Thank you. Connor, you have a question.
Yes, so I understand that you are an API middle layer. What does that mean for your interaction with the end user, with the people who experience the hotels that you have certified? Do you ever talk with those people and find out how their experience has changed or what other alternatives they might have?
Exactly. First of all, we have an API for flights and accommodation, and also we have a SaaS solution. So no integration needed, just as a software to help them connect, with no need of integration. Again, ask me, please direct me to the...
What is your interaction? So like, I know that you certify hotels, but then there are people that benefit from your work, right? That feel the impact of your work. Do you ever talk with those people, find out what their experiences are? Do you have any interaction, or do you rather interact just with the airlines and the hotels?
So we have it both ways, because we started as a B2C company. We've pivoted to the B2B. We've pivoted to the API, but we are having the solution to get the feedback out of the customers in order to make it more and more unique for them. We are tailoring them. Later on now, we are developing our AI solution, so it will be tailor made and suggestions made for each and every traveler on the go.
Mr. Moderator, can I ask one more?
Yeah, we have one for one more. please.
Just on the scalability of the product, if you individually certify hotels one by one, it strikes me as scalability being a very challenging issue for the product and to try to create the type of impact you want to make worldwide. Do you need to do each hotel individually, and how do you plan to increase the scalability, the efficiency with which you can certify hotels?
Okay, so we think it's crucial to know the exact parameters in the hotel room, and you can only know that if you're really inside. What I said before is that we are collaborating with disability organizations around the world, and we pay them to do the check for us. And this is how we can increase the database widely, and not just one by one. And another impact to that is that they know, even though we are a B2B company, they know to ask the travel agency, do you have Travaxy? If not, it's not good enough, because we know how to check all the bits and bytes in it.
Thank you very much. I think we're just in time for the next category. So guys, good luck. These are all amazing products. Congratulations, because you're already winners. And so let's see what happens. Let's see who is going to be this year's winner.